Fucking out of shape. Perfect. Want to see me screw up twice? When I took that front piece back off, I realized there was already 2 holes right where I needed them, pretty much in the front of the bed. So rather than drilling more holes in the bed, I marked them from underneath. Gonna pull that front piece back off, drill those through, and that's how I'm gonna mount that down before we finish grinding and cutting this. With that being said, I'm out of time. I've gotta go. So we're gonna center punch those holes, drill them out, and get this back on the truck. Guys, we're getting close. I just gotta cut and grind a couple more times. Same process you've been watching me do, so there's no reason to me recording the rest of this. Gonna make that shelf fit a little bit better, and we'll keep going from there. All right, so after a bunch of cutting and grinding, I finally got this where I want it to sit on both sides. The back is sitting nice and even on both sides. And then this side is, it's sitting a little weird right now, but this side's also right where I want it, minus that. Just got to kick it out. But basically what I did, made sure the bottom lined up. That's all I was really concentrating on. And then once these were touching, basically just ran a cutoff wheel. I mean, it's a little crooked, that's because I keep grinding in spots, but run a cutoff wheel side to side until you get enough of a gap. So the next thing's going to be is I'm going to brace these two together, bolt them to the bed, and make sure everything fits perfect before we lay any kind of fiberglass or whatnot. So what we're going to do in here is just simply clamp that together. Clamp that together. Now the front won't move around, and we can anchor the back to the truck and continue on with the fine tuning before we start fiberglassing this. Now with the base clamped together like that, I'll know that's where I want it to sit, and I can work on this gap. And the same thing to this side. Make sure that holds down. Now remember, this is mounted to the bed already, temporarily, but it is mounted. So now it's going to keep the front down there, so when I'm fitting this and wiggling it around, the base stays where I want it to, so I can work the rest of it now. Now you see what that just did is opened it up just the right amount for me. Obviously I've got bigger gaps throughout the whole thing, but if I can have a couple sections of it real close like that, it's only going to make it easier for me. Now you can see over here, nothing's touching, but I might want to open this up just a hair. For this I gotta kind of unclamp it and prop some wood under here like I had done previously, but should be the last little cut. So you can see we got that where we want it now. Well, the next part is going to be taking care of kind of bracing this stuff. Top looks pretty good. It is some pretty wavy fiberglass. So we're going to make a couple braces to basically hold this stuff flush while we do our outer layer. This side's looking pretty good, but same general idea. This outside here, I'm gonna hold this as flush as I can and probably just grind this down and reshape it with fiberglass. Keep in mind we did have to kind of cheat this thing to fit. And with the amount we cut, some of these lines are gonna be off. So the goal is to make it look as intentional and even flowing as we can, so you can't tell where we cut and did this. And that's where building it up with fiberglass, body filler, and reshaping it's going to come into play. So you're going to see me do this all types of wrong, using a pen instead of a pencil. You're not going to watch me cut this piece of wood because I'm going to be using a Sawzall since I don't have any other kind of saw here right now to cut this. But the general idea here, I'm going to make a couple pieces. We're going to go 2-inch wide pieces. And what these are going to do is act as a brace for the parts of the camper shell that we need to close up together. So the idea now is that we're going to drill a hole on each side where we need to suck these pieces together. Take our flat piece of wood, put it behind it, and shoot some wood screws through the holes we drilled into the wood, and it's going to pull this wood flush against these two covers and suck them flat. Once we have the main part nice and sturdy, we can take those screws out, fill them with filler or fiberglass, sand them flat. You'll never know they're there. So now you'll see with these on here, pulls it nice and flush. Gonna want to do it every little bit. If I put another one here, it's gonna pull that all flush. Treat it kind of like tack welds. Now what I'm gonna plan on doing is this part right here that doesn't line up. Since this is solid and that's solid, I'm just gonna sand these until they meet. before I lay fiberglass. It'll kind of contour them the same. Any of these little trouble areas, we're gonna suck them in close like that, and then work them with a sanding block or a grinder, depending how far off they are, before laying our fiberglass. You can see now that I got a few of these in, if you step back, you can see how flush it is now, side to side. Also shows you where I need to grind down a little. For instance, this corner. This corner needs to come down a little. And then from the other side, this piece is thinner than this piece. It wasn't that it was wavy, but you can also tighten and loosen these to bring pieces out of right and line them up. I'm okay with a little bit of stuff like this because I can lay fiberglass on the outside and then just lay it flat or sand it flat when I'm done. So we're gonna keep going on this until I get all the way around and get both sides done. So got a lot of this cleaned up real quick with the sander. You can see now the high spots are a little more contoured. It's going to be built up with fiberglass, but at least starting off with a fresh base like this is going to make it easier when we're leveling it back out. And you can see on the other side, the contours are better matched now. This right here goes in, but that's on purpose. It's so thin right here. I want to build this up to that. That way it'll add some rigidity to this. Same with the other side. But still same thing. Knocked down the super high spots. So now we're going to clean this thing up and get it ready to lay some fiberglass. So hose it all down to get all the dust off. I'm gonna be crawling around in this truck again, and fiberglass has grit to it. So I don't want that to get rubbed into the paint and whatnot while we're doing the glass work. The next thing we're gonna do is I wanna put some plastic sheeting on the side of the truck and whatnot. I'm gonna be using the truck itself as a jig to do the outside. I don't want any of the resin or fiberglass to get on the paint. So we're gonna let this finish drying off, and then we're gonna start putting some tarps down on it, mix up the fiberglass, and start laying it. So we're in the garage now. Started raining. Basically all you really missed was I lined the inside of the topper where the joint's gonna be with tinfoil. There's duct tape behind the tinfoil, but what that tinfoil is gonna do is, if you look through the outside, first off, if you look through the outside, you can see the tinfoil all the way down. That's gonna give me a backing to it so that I have something to, not so much push, but something to lay the fiberglass against. After the outside's done, we are going to fiberglass it from the inside and give it more rigidity and whatnot too. But having that backing while laying the outside is going to give it something to sit against rather than just all of the resin falling through and landing inside the truck and fiberglass falling through this and that. Like I said, it's just a backing to put it on. So I'm going to tarp off the sides of the truck real quick, mix up the fiberglass resin, cut some sheets to length, and we're going to start putting fiberglass on this. The redneck chrome or tinfoil that I'm putting here is just to keep the resin and the fiberglass off this aluminum rail that TV's gonna weld or have his buddy weld and combine back into one piece again later. Resin and fiberglass won't stick to the tinfoil. So even if it droops down here and globs up, I can, in theory, pull this off when I'm done. It'll be a lot less cleanup to do. And yeah, I'm using duct tape for this part because I already have the masking tape down on the car, but I'm also running low on masking tape and don't want to have to run out again just to finish this little part. So, not to mention the duct tape's going to stick better to the tarp too. So we just going to tape the tarp, tape this tarp to the masking tape. Protect the truck from anything that may drip off. And I know I only taped the aluminum to here. I'm not worried, I'm not gonna go crazy with it. I'm not worried about any of the resin getting anywhere past here. The tarp's just past there because, you know, there's much more chance of it hitting this stuff as far as the splatter goes than it doing anything other than slightly dripping onto here. So the truck's all taped off. The next couple things you see me do here are gonna go pretty quick. You want all this to get on there while, obviously before it's cured, that's just how this all works. So what you're first gonna see me doing is, this fiberglass comes in a sheet like this. I'm gonna cut this to strips that I can use and manage with on there. I don't need them this wide, I'll probably cut them down in half. My main plan of attack for this is going to be kind of laying the fiberglass in the crack that I've got to fill like that against the tinfoil, obviously. Best way to do this is get an old paintbrush you don't need anymore. It's not going to work after this. Once you're done, you throw it out. Even for the next coat, we're getting another brush. Just get a bunch of cheap ones. You're going to saturate the part you're about to do first. So I'm going to paint this on to the part of the crack I'm doing first. Lay the fiberglass on top of the resin and then brush more resin over it. Make sure you work all the air bubbles and stuff out. It's pretty cold out today, which is good and bad. Usually you want to do this when it's warmer out for the sake of curing, but I do have a faster curing resin than I would normally use. With that being said, It's still gonna take a while to cure, but it will cure faster than it normally would when it's this cold out. Not as fast as when it's hot out, but I'm kind of guessing on how much time I'm gonna have on this. So I've just gotta pretty much, well, in this case, set the camera up and go at it. So not gonna be a whole lot of talking with this, more so just working, but hopefully you can kind of follow along with what I'm doing here. All right, I'm also gonna cut these down shorter because I'm not going over those screw heads right now. After this first part's done, those screws will come out and we'll go over that with more fiberglass to cover them. But this right now is just for the initial covering of most of that crack so that it'll hold everything together and we can take off our braces and keep going with it. I'm gonna give myself a couple different sizes because like we saw on part 1 of this, nothing's really uniform on that camper shell. And once I start doing this, I can't really come back and start cutting more pieces. So I just gotta kind of guess and get everything out of the way right now. Once this hardener gets in there, I've got 2 minutes to mix it before I start applying it. I'm gonna go get my work area set up and find a good place for the camera. Keeping in mind, like I said, I'm probably not gonna be doing a whole lot of talking during this or moving stuff around. So let me find somewhere that kind of lets you guys see the whole process. Well, I'm gonna eye this over after I'm done screwing up this piece that you're watching me fuck with right now. And make sure there's no air pockets in here. I have a little bit left I can smooth over the top of any pieces that need it. Then we're gonna let it cure. All right, so the fiberglass cured overnight. Next what we're gonna do is pop off the wooden braces we have underneath here and lay solid fiberglass the whole way across so it's one smooth layer. I know I'm probably creating more work for myself, overlapping some of these pieces. It's obviously way higher than the final surface is going to be, but at this point, I just want it to hold it nice and strong so I can flip this over and do the inside. I'm sure I'll be bitching about it later when I come back to sand all of this, but I'm kind of just guessing as I go along this whole thing though. It'll work either way, it's just a matter of how much work it's going to take to get to the finished product. Well, that's all I'm doing today. Just wanted to stop out here and do one more quick coat of fiberglass from the outside. It is still pretty cold out here, so it's going to take a bit for it to cure. I'm once again heading out of town. I'll be in Wisconsin all week, and then when I get back, this will be more than cured to where we can pop it off the truck, flip the camper shell over, and start doing it from the inside too. So that's where we'll pick back up. Well, we're back at it again today. Just got back in town from Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin. Actually went and met up with my buddy Tanner. I kind of mentioned him briefly a couple times. We've actually made a video. It didn't turn out good due to some audio issues we had. And there will be a video later. I'm hoping he might have some involvement in possibly tuning the Mazda and stuff once that's done. But if you haven't checked out Slop Talk on TikTok or Slop Shop on YouTube, I'll link it below.
So we upgraded the old lathe here. This whole situation here was a little sketchy. So, all right, guys, when I show you this, you got to promise that you're not gonna throw up or unfollow me. Your typical SRT8 Challenger, you know, we're gonna put a cam in it, I think, or a V10 Viper engine. Alrighty, nitrous is ready to go bang bang in my engine hole. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Yes, we will.
Boys, it's meant to be. Come on now.
Yeah, he's funny ass dude. Got to meet up with him. I was up there for work, but it was good to catch up with someone I haven't seen in probably over 10 years, almost 15 years probably. Needless to say though, we're back. All you've missed that I didn't really get on film was when I got back in town last night, my wife helped me flip the camper shell over inside the truck so I have somewhere to hold it while I work on it, flip it over so that now I can finish the fiberglass work from the inside. Before I get started on that though, just got some quick tires to dismount and change for a buddy. Gonna take care of these. Knock out, it's only a little bit of work. I just gotta lay more fiberglass and then let it cure. It is still cold. I'm still using the hardener that takes longer to cure. So it's probably all that's getting done on the truck this weekend. And once it's fully cured and I come back next weekend, flip the camper shell back over and I can start doing the part that I'm kind of dreading. I've got to sand a lot of that flat, possibly grind it with a grinder depending on how much I overdid it with the resin. And then body filler, smooth it out, and the truck will be going back to Teeny. After that, it's going to be back on the LS for the Mazda. I've got a bunch of parts ready to go. I've just been waiting to get this out of the garage, mainly because this makes a lot of dust that I don't want to get into the engine. Fiberglass dust, nonetheless. And this is giving me kind of a break from the Mazda so that now, you know, to say the least, I can't wait to get back into it. It's kind of just like a breath of fresh air. I've been working on the thing longer than this channel has been a thing, so you guys haven't seen all the stuff I've done to it so far. But a little break wasn't bad. Other than that, severely need to put a shed up. I have all this stuff sitting here taking up the third bay. It's still cold, but it's starting to get warmer, so Eventually I'll be able to put a shed up in the backyard, clean up this third bay. I'm sure I'll have a video of what I'm turning this into in the garage. It's going to be more of a hangout area, not so much car related, but it'll make some cool footage too. Coming up, I do have some work I'm still doing on t-shirts and stuff. Stickers are selling like crazy. So if you guys haven't grabbed any of those yet, just hit me up, whether it's on Facebook. I think you can message me on YouTube. Hit me up on Facebook though, Moonlight Garage on Facebook, or I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. Just message me one way or another. I'll make sure we get you some of the stickers. Few designs, they're $3.50 a piece. I will ship them to you for $2, regardless of how many you buy. If you buy one sticker, if you buy 10 stickers, it's $2 to ship it. Other than that, a couple car shows coming up here within the next couple months. We're actually going down to Oklahoma. Put-in's Fab Shop is going to be at a car show down there. Those of you that don't know me, he's probably my biggest motivation for this channel, or my biggest inspiration. It took enough of me sitting there watching his channel, and me and my wife watching his channel, and her telling me that you could literally do this, go start yours. So other than that, we're into a lot of the same stuff. So I'm probably going to fangirl out a little bit when I go down there if I get a chance to meet him and his group. We have another show coming up. I believe it's in May. I could be wrong. It's going to be down in Missouri, Relaxing in the Park. It's a big mini truck show. We're driving on there with possibly a couple people. I think I'm just going to take the 300. None of my trucks are going to be ready. Honestly, I just kind of want to go experience the show. And then we're going to be trying to hit up, me and whoever I drag along with. I'd like to hit up Lowdown Roundup in Iowa. It's only like 5 hours away in Des Moines. And then lastly, I definitely want to hit up Simcoe again this year up in Wisconsin. But yeah, so a lot of stuff in the works. I just want to go see the shows and figured I'd take the phone along with me, record it, make a quick episode out of it, show you guys kind of what I do when I'm not working, whether it's, at work or at work. And yeah, so I'm going to knock out these tires though, enough of me rambling, and then we're going to get back to a little bit more fiberglass work. So first, I need to clean the rest of this tape and tinfoil off the inside. Probably wipe it down with some alcohol. And then I'm going to start patching the fiberglass all along this seam. We're going to trim this out later. Remember, I wanted to make this thicker and stronger anyways over here. Only thing I'm debating is this lip right here. It's only there because where I started to cut this camper shell back was a little thicker in the middle with foam in it, and the end cap didn't have it. So I don't know yet if I'm just gonna lay fiberglass over the top of these since no one's gonna see it anyways, or if I'm gonna cut just this top layer out like this, across, and then in, peel back the top layer, peel back the foam, and then have a nice even area to glass those together. So I'm gonna kick around a couple ideas and then start covering this with fiberglass. I think the first layer is gonna be filling in these cracks, building it up to the same height, and then the second layer will be laying fiberglass over the top of all that. Inside seam all done. I've got about 3 layers on here. Completely saturated in the resin and hardener. Had just enough to finish this up. Some of it's not really transparent yet. I just finished laying it. I need to push down a couple more spots to get air pockets out, like right there. But it went pretty good. So now we're just gonna let this thing cure. Flip it over and start cleaning up the outside again. So we're gonna leave off for this episode of it. There will be a part 3, and I'm thinking part 3 is gonna be the last video. Just splitting it up so that it's not an hour and a half of this, most of which is sanding. But yeah, so once again, let me know if any of you guys want some of the stickers. Just reach out to me and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks again.